Today, I'm going to show you how you can make a tin exactly like this one. I don't know if you've tried Dirty, the mushroom focus powder, but it's so good. And I made this the other day. I thought it was kind of cool, so I'm going to do a tutorial about it. Here's how you do it. Okay, so let's start a new file. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to delete everything that's here. And I might just change the background to be a little bit lighter so that we can see what's going on. Now, I'm going to screenshot the product that I want to make. I'd recommend doing this every single time you actually start a project. Just bring in a load of images into here so that you've actually got something to go off when you're doing the design. Now, we've got the pot base, and then it basically like curves out, and then we've got the lid here. So I'm going to get a cylinder, and I'm just going to draw that out there. If you hold shift, then it's perfectly rounded. Now I'm going to drag this up a little bit, and that's going to be the pot base. What I'm going to do is copy and paste that. That would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? I'm going to turn down the corner radiuses, and I'm also going to turn down the corner size for that. Okay, now I'm going to click smooth and edit. It's going to be all messed up. We're going to change the level back to 0 on the subdivision modifier. There it is. Okay, great. Now, let's focus on this bottom bit to start with. I'm going to double click, and then I'm going to get all of these, and I'm going to drag it out, and then give that nice curved lip that this has got. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to drag out, and then I'm going to drag out with this arrow here. Whoop. Messed it up. Just to give it a little bit of a curved edge. Doesn't matter if it's rough at this stage, because we will be doing more with it. And then I believe at the bottom it actually curves up a little bit. Let's just do that. Nice. That's the bottom done. Then we've got this lip on the top here. In fact, I'm going to bring that down a tiny bit, because that actually goes in. Okay. Going to get all of these. Whoop. There it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it up a tiny bit, and then pull that in, and do the same again there. Now we're going to have the lid sat on top of that. Here's the lid. Okay, so it's got a rimmed top. You get the idea now. We're just going to drag these. Now instead of this one, I'm actually going to use this one. I'm going to pull it up, and it's a tiny bit rimmed. And then I'm going to pull it up, and then again give it a tiny rim here. Okay, great. I'm going to pull that in. Actually, that looks good. Okay, cool. Now, I'm going to give these subdivision modifier of 1, and you're like, oof, that doesn't look quite right, Jack. Well, hold on. What we're going to do is we're going to then use this cutting tool here, and we're going to get back our angles by getting the middle. We're going to keep cutting in so that it's not as jagged. There it is. Nice. Okay, that looks a lot better. And we also don't want as severe a cut in here. Yeah, I'm going to just do some cutting in here. So you can see that we can essentially edit the shape while still maintaining that smooth exterior. Okay, great. Okay, nice, that's nice. Okay, so we've got the tin. Now, how the hell do we get all this text on here? Well, what we can do is we can actually go to Figma, and we can just type out exactly the same text that we've got on this in exactly the same text style. Now, if you want to use this exact model, it's just Inter that I've used. I'm not sure if Dirty have actually got their own font. It does look slightly different, but this is the most similar free one that I found. And then what I did is I basically grouped this and exported as a PNG. This was the one that I actually used, so I'll use this one. And I've just flipped it around because when it applies, I found that it will go on the right way if you do that. You can spin it around in Spline rather than in Figma if that's how you prefer. Okay, so we've got this. Let's just... not sure this section is quite right. What we can do is we can double click, we can highlight this whole section, and this is going to highlight this side and the other side. And I'm just going to bring that down a little bit so that it's not quite as pronounced. That looks a little bit closer actually. Okay, so then we need the material. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a matte cap to this. And then we're going to apply that text over the top. We can use something like this. In fact, this one might be a little bit closer. I'm going to change that to overlay. I'm going to change the color to the same color as we've got here. Let's turn that down to 50 so it's not quite as intense. Lighting's fine, and I'm going to add a little bit of a noise to this, just because the actual can material has a tiny bit of texture to it. So what we can do is we're going to give this an overlay as well. Let's turn this down to more like 50, maybe 25. Yeah, that's quite nice. Okay, so you can see how this is starting to come together. I'm actually going to use a bit more of a saturated orange. Maybe that would be better. Okay. Yep, that's a bit closer. Okay, nice. I'm going to save that as a material. I'm just going to call that can. And then what I can do is I can just apply that same material there at the top. Just makes it super simple. Now we've got this text on the front, which I want to apply to the can body, but not this lid. So what I can do is I can double click on this, and then I can unlink that so that when I change this pot with this material layer on, it doesn't change the can as well. And then I can just add an image layer. So I'm going to upload what I've just exported, group 2. Make sure that it's quite big as well when you export it, because otherwise it will be a bit grainy and a bit fuzzy, and that's obviously not what you want. Okay, so material, I'm going to change this to spherical. I'm going to change the scale down to 0.25. And I'm going to change the crop to yes. Now, there it is. We've got something resembling what we like. We might want to change this image to be 1.9. Let's try that. That looks nice. Okay, cool. And you can see within 10 minutes we've gone from something that didn't exist to something that does exist, which is kind of cool. I'm going to add this rim now and the rim on the bottom just to make this a little bit more realistic. So what I'm going to do is I've got these measurements here when I click on the pot base. So what I'm going to do is get a sphere, and I'm just going to draw out something. Whoop, I don't actually want a sphere, sorry. I want a cylinder. 4.1 boom, boom, boom. I'm going to make this very narrow, and I'm going to give this a bit of a curve now as well. So let's make that 15, and the bow is going to be 15 as well. It's actually a very narrow top. Do that a bit more like that. Okay, great. So this shape is kind of flat like a pancake. What we want to do is to hollow that out. And I might just make that 0.9 so that we have that shape there. Nice. We're going to give that the same material as the can. And we're just going to put that over the top there. Now what we can do is we can highlight everything and make it center on the X and the Z axis so that we've got something a little bit more realistic there. If we copy this bottom, if this rimmed bit, and then if we make that a little bit thicker for the bottom piece, and maybe also with slightly less cornering, then we can also put that at the bottom. So again, X and Z. And there it is. We've got a can that's pretty realistic. We definitely need to finesse it some more, but see how quickly you can actually make something of your own that is 3D, quite realistic, and then you can obviously put this inside a scene or embed this on a website, or maybe export it simply as an image file too. So that's a wrap, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Appreciate all of you for watching, and ask me any questions in the comments if there's anything that you particularly like me to make. Cheers.